Hello and welcome back to you all to the Cheltenham Countdown channel for the 2026 Cheltenham Festival preview episode right here. Yeah, that's right, it's the whole lot on this episode today. The whole 28 races will be previewed on the Cheltenham Countdown preview episode on today's video. The countdown is nearly over, guys. We are nearly there until the start of the festival, and this is where you will find out who I'll be siding with in the majority of races come next week. It's been bubbling up nicely all season long, and it's culminating in this very video. I think, guys, of all the previews I've done on this channel over the last few years, since starting the Cheltenham Countdown, this is probably the most fun and enjoyable season to date. In trying to find the horses you want and the winners on the day, it's been a tricky enough season, but it's been the most enjoyable and really sort of sportiest season I've ever had on the Cheltenham Countdown to date. I must say also, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the most open and intriguing festival for many years as regards how challenging it will be to get your winners and selections in order due to the lack of strong, heavy favourites this time around. Nonetheless, I can't wait to get this started and let you all know who I fancy in the races this year. As like I said, I'll speak about every single race, guys, to try my best and get my point across accurately and as quickly as possible in order to get through all 28 races of the festival. I will timestamp as well. That's important because I know you guys don't want to be watching an hour's worth or maybe over an hour's worth long of a video. So I will timestamp the day's races under the video so you can skip through a day's race card and go right through from day 1 to day 4 as easily as you can. And then at the end, you will get as many best bets I intend to put up on this channel, including some ante-post plays you may have already seen in my series, as well as a potential banker or two and some handicap fancies I really like as well. Whilst watching the video, hopefully in its entirety, guys, if you do enjoy it, press the like button and share the video. I want you to comment your best bet for each day's racing at Cheltenham from day 1 to day 4. See if you can get perhaps a lucky 15 from your four selections across each day of the meeting. And obviously, subscribe to my channel for any of you who haven't yet. It's free to do. You know, it's easy enough to do. Just press that subscribe button and you can watch every episode I post on a regular basis here on the channel. I am recording this, guys, on a Friday, as you know, Friday, March the 6th. I am recording this today, so as you know, things may alter and may change with a few selections come the day with regards if I'm unsure on any picks or if any some unfortunately haven't been declared or confirmed. But hopefully all selections will get to the declaration stage, to get the declaration point that we need, so that nothing will have changed between now and post time. And then these are my general feelings per race, guys. I got to get this bit in. These are all my general feelings per race, but I always link my Twitter description under the videos from on each video that I do post. So day by day, if you want to see who I post on a regular basis on Twitter, just give me a follow on that account and you can see who I post on each race, and my selection will be on those races. But I hope you guys can watch this preview, guys. It's been a fun one all season long, like I said, and it's all culminating in this very video. So like I said, let's get straight to the races now. Day 1, starting off with the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Here we go then. The first race of the festival is the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and arguably the most eagerly anticipated race of the whole year. It gets everyone going, especially with the Cheltenham Row. Now, the horses in this race, guys, are headed by Old Park Star. Mighty Park is in here. He doesn't go to the Turners on the Wednesday. He runs in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. El Kairos is there. Talk the Talk, My Daddy Paddy, Leader Dahlia, Sober Glory, and the rest are at bigger prices. Idaho's Son has been confirmed a non-runner in this race, guys. He has had a setback, so just bear that in mind with Idaho's Son. If you were a follower of the horse, he is not running in this year's race. Nonetheless, it's a brilliant race to get the festival underway and a proper competitive Grade 1 to start the whole week. Very hard for punters to pick the winner, but I'll try to go through the main protagonists and break it down somewhat. If I start with Old Park Star, clearly he's got speed, guys, and can maintain that speed too. He does quicken as well, which will be needed in this race. I know everyone wants to win in the Supreme to kick things off with weekend style, but he's quite a short price to get stuck into in the opening race and it might be a risk at the start of the meeting to back him fairly low. He'll be pestered for the lead in the race as well. He won't get his own way, but he does jump really good, which is probably his asset, and has won on the new course at Cheltenham this season already. Talk the talk. He won at the DRF, and that race I thought did turn into a bit of a sprint at the end. They went slow early on, very congested field around the last bend at Leopardstown, which suggests how slow they really did go. And once it became a sprint to the line, the front three that day pulled 6 lengths from the rest. So I don't think Talk the Talk is slow whatsoever. I mean, he did beat 2 horses who had first run on him over 2 miles at Leopardstown that day in Barryfad and King Rascal Grey. So he does have speed. His jumping could improve a bit. I don't think it's as bad as what some people say, in my opinion. I think he'll be ridden roughly in midfield in terms of a patient ride or in rear. I wouldn't say he'll be one to take the lead early on, as JJ Slevin will judge the pace and decide when to pounce, as he did the same at Christmas when falling at that specific race at Leopardstown. If he gets everything right, he's a major threat to the favourite Old Park Star. El Kairos next, guys. He's one I won't be discussing for long. I can't side with him despite the obvious speed he has. I just think the form of his races are not strong enough, and he's clearly vulnerable when he hits the front too soon. He fell at Christmas and clouted the last at Thurles, and obviously had he not won at Thurles that day, he'd be a much bigger price right now. So he's about 6-1 at the moment, or 13-2, just judged on probably his win at Thurles rather than anything else. Mighty Park next, guys. I did put him up in my ante-post series, as you know. 15-2, non-runner, no bet. So that's looking pretty good at the moment with regards to running him here than he's not running in the Turners. So hopefully he'll have a good chance in the Supreme on the first race. And even though he's had the one run, guys, in overrules in Ireland, blimey, it was good, wasn't it? It was really, really good. I mean, he won the race by 38 lengths. On your rules racecourse debut, there must be something good about you. He's JP McManus's only runner in this race, guys, so I wasn't surprised to see him confirmed to come in here. And I'd argue as well, he's probably Willie Mullins' best novice hurdler too. So I'm happy with that slip at the moment for Mighty Park in this race. Other UK horses, quickly just to touch on, the other threats from the UK horses in the race are My Daddy Paddy and Sober Glory. I think Sober Glory is probably the most talented and the most speedy of the two, but My Daddy Paddy, you could say, is the better jumper. So I won't put anyone of you off putting back in them each way on the day in the opener. One or two of them, well, both of them could finish easily in the places each way. But my selection, guys, my main selection in the Supreme Novice Hurdle this year will be Mighty Park, but I will keep an eye on how Talk the Talk's price differs on the day as well. But my sort of main selection in the day will be Mighty Park, based on the fact I did back him at ante-post level, 15-2 in my ante-post series as well. So Mighty Park, hopefully get us all off to a flyer in the Supreme Novices. The Arkle Novices Chase is a top race this year with regards to who's running in the race potentially this time around. We've got Kopek the Board heading the market at the moment, guys. He's up there at the top of the market. Lulamba's there, Cargezi, Romeo Coolio. Will he run here? Will he go run in the Brown Advisory? Who knows? But he's still entered in this race. Irish Panther, Steel Alley and Kappa Jai Pike, and the rest again at bigger prices. A match-up in the race between the top two perhaps, or even three if you count Romeo Coolio, or are there any others to note perhaps in the race? It could be a proper match-up, a proper burn-up between Lulamba and Kopek the Board, you'd imagine, but it may be not as straightforward as that. I'll break it down again somewhat now. I'm with Lulamba here, guys. I'm quite adamant he's going to win. He's clearly the horse we've seen the most of and has done nothing wrong in his career except for the Triumph Hurdle last year where Paneros has stopped him being undefeated. I think his jumping is fine without being spectacular. He's won on all types of ground. He's versatile in tactics and he stays really well. Probably further than what you'd like in an Arkle, but yet again, he may need that stamina come the end of a grueling race this time around. My only worry with him is, has anything been marked or scarred since his Newbury Game Spirit win that day, as it was heavy going on that occasion. I know we needed a run in that race, but has it taken any of his toll on the horse? That's my only doubt about Lulamba, guys. I think if he avoids any slow jumps early on, he'll be fine and keep up with the momentum of the pace. He just needs to be sitting in behind the leaders until the last and whoosh, go on up that hill. With regards to Kopek the Board, I wouldn't side with him over fences after just the one run all season. Although I put up Mighty Park in the Supreme off one run, I'm going to contradict myself and not put Kopek the Board up in the Arkle off one run. But I'll try and say why. Compact Board has got the speed as shown in the Supreme last year, but how many runs does it take to win an Arkle? I don't think one is enough. Like I said, he's missed the middle part of the season through a small setback as well, which is not ideal. And this is one of my main reasons. He has a tendency to be free sometimes, and I'd worry about him blowing out towards the middle part or before the end personally. He could get very, very keen and sweaty and really lose a lot of energy before the end of the race. Romeo Coolio, he's come to Cheltenham twice and lost twice. I just don't know if the track suits him too well, guys. He came second in the bumper behind arguably a stayer's horse in Jasmine DeVoe a couple of years ago and lost the lead quite the way out in Copeck to Copeck the Board in last year's Supreme Novice. He'll travel well into the race, as we all guess. He'll travel well down the hill. He'll come there swinging. But he obviously has been better over fences He'll obviously be better over fences in time, but I don't see him quite good enough over 2 miles on this course. That's just my opinion. The further up in trip he'll be in the future, the better. But he's not winning the Arkle, in my opinion. Not a chance there's Romeo Cooley winning an Arkle. So my verdict, my selection, I'm a fan of Lulamba and have been all year. It's him for me here quite strongly. I've had him in many multiples and Arkles throughout the season, so I hope he does the business. I wouldn't be put off Cargasi a bit. I think she needs to settle a bit more. I don't think she'll be better by taking the lead, but I think she'll be there or thereabouts. And give a quick mention to Steel Ali for Sam Thomas, a fantastic jumper of a horse he is. I just don't think he's in the same class as Lulamba. So like I said, my main selection and my selection in this race confirmedly will be Lulamba, guys. I hope he wins the race for Nicky de Boinville and Nicky Henderson. Juvenile handicap hurdle known as the Fred Winter is the third race on day one this year. And Saratoga is the market leader at the moment, has been for quite a while. Winston Jr. is there, Manlaga, Munsif, Ames, Glen de Glen, La Luna Artista, Madnestel, Mustang de Broy, and the rest are bigger prices such as 16 to 1 and bigger. I do really like one in here at a short enough price, guys, as well as one at a fairly big enough each way poke as well. So I'll come on to the each way section in a bit. But my main sort of selection will be Manlaga for Nicky Henderson, who I'll side with as my stronger fancy first of all. I'd assume James Bowen will ride her in the race, as he has already partnered her once since joining Nicky's yard. And she runs off a mark of 1:30. She's had 1 run in France, 2 in the UK. I think this has been the plan for her some way out, guys. She's 2 from 3, and her sole defeat came when just touched off by a horse called Manganese at Doncaster, when both fillies that day pulled 22 lengths from the horse in third in a listed race. She then ran 2.5 weeks later at Haydock in the Victor Ludorum Juvenile Hurdle and beat a decent field with some that may reappear against her in the Fred Winter at Cheltenham this time around. So Manlaga, guys, is going to be my main selection. The other at a bigger price I will back each way is a horse called Ole for Gavin Cromwell. I think he's 20 to 1 at the moment. This horse has not won a race yet, but has had the 4 starts, 1 in France, 3 in Ireland, and hasn't been beaten in all his 4 starts by a margin of over 1.5 lengths. He's lost out by a length, another length, and a head since joining Gavin Cromwell's stable. So he does have a very solid chance towards the finish in his races if he can stay this trip at Cheltenham. That's my only concern. Will a whole atmosphere on occasion come to Ole? I'm not sure about that, but we'll wait and see. This Saratoga, guys, is not for me whatsoever. I can't believe he's so short in the market based on what he's done. He's definitely the JP and Mark Walsh effect, having him at the top of the betting. But I wouldn't be a fan of his, unfortunately. And as I don't think he jumps that well enough and quickly enough to be able to win and deal with a big field handicap like this. So I'm thumbs down for Saratoga, a thumbs up for Manlaga and Ole. And like I said, the 2 I will be putting up in the Fred Winter this year will be the aforementioned Manlaga, who's currently 7 to 1, and Ole will be my each way poke in the race. First handicap over fences at the festival this year is the Ultima. And the competitive one over 3 miles and 1 furlong as well, guys. Jaguar is the market leader at the moment with Iroko, both trained by the same trainer and owned by JP McManus. They are the top of the betting. Handstands is there, the last year's winner, Mayatown, Quebecois, Johnny Who, Highland, Confusion, and the Short Go. The rest are bigger prices, including Leave of Absence and Imperial Saint. The one in here for me is going to be top weighted Iroko, guys. I'm very sweet on Iroko's chances. I think he has claims to be potentially the best horse in this field due to a brilliant 4th place finish in the Grand National last year, and a £5 rise since isn't the worst rise to have. This season saw him finish within 2.5 lengths of the Jukebox Man at Haydock before beating Firefox at Ascot in December. Now, the Jukebox Man won the King George afterwards, and Firefox went on to finish 4th in the Irish Gold Cup at the DRF. So the form is very substantially stronger than the others in this race, and even with 12 stone on his back, I believe he's the one they all have to beat. I disregard Mayertown this time. He's not the most consistent and hasn't shown any glimpses of winning a race this season. Handstands, for me, is solid, but there's a lingering doubt with me over the horse when he comes up against superior rivals, and he's been in and out this campaign. I wouldn't back an Irish horse in this race, as you know, the record is there for all to see. The only other horse in this race I kind of like for the contests is Imperial Saint, as I mentioned earlier in the betting, for Philip Hobbs and Johnson White, who off 144 finished second off this mark in a Grade 3 at Aintree last April and won the Peter Marsh at Haydock last time out. His record over 3 miles is good, with a second and a first to his name. This has been the target since then, and I feel he could go really close over this trip before tilt maybe at the National in April. So I'm going to go with Iroko, who's roughly 6-1 at the moment, guys. He's my sort of win play in this race, and my each way selection will be Imperial Saint, who I am backing for this race as well. So Iroko, Imperial Saint. I hope you guys horses go well in the Ultima this year. They're my 2 selections. 2026 Champion Hurdle is headed by the new line for Dan Skelton on 9-4. Will she or won't she? Lossie Motagini in the second favourite in the market, 7-2 for Willie Mullins. Will she run or won't she run? We'll have to wait and see and find out for that specific horse. But Lossie Motagini at the moment. One thing's for sure, the other mare, Brighter Days Ahead, will run for Gordon Ellis. She's 5-1. Reigning champion hurdler, Golden Ace, is 8-1. Pond and Ross, 14-1. Alexi, 16-1. And the rest are at bigger prices, such as Amsterdam, Tutti Quanti, and Work Ahead. It's not a vintage champion hurdle. If Lossiemouth doesn't run, guys, I'd be ashamed. I'd be gutted if she doesn't run. I think she needs to take a place, and she's clearly good enough to run in the champion hurdle this year. And if she is to run, she's the horse I will be siding with. She's the best horse in the field in my opinion, especially at Cheltenham. The New Lion, he obviously won the Turners last year, fell in the Fighting Faith, came back and won the International. He's clearly a very talented horse and can stay further, obviously winning the Turners last year. He jumps very, very low, which a hurdler should be doing, but it does come with high risk. And if he stands on all 4 legs come the end, he's got a very, very high chance. I just wonder, will he stand on all 4 legs come the end? That's my only concern with him. Hopefully he does, obviously. Brighter Days Ahead has come to Cheltenham twice and flopped twice, in my opinion, so I can't really side with her, although Connections and Golden Ellie, I seem very, very confident with her chance this year, so you may have to take that quite literally. Golden Ace, will she do it back-to-back for a second year in a row and become a dual champion hurdler? I don't think she will this time around, guys. She's clearly had a brilliant story in what she's done, and the way she's won the Fighting Fifth as well, and obviously last year's race. I just feel there's better mares in this race than her, rather than the geldings as well. So I don't think I'd be very surprised if she could win it back-to-back. That's just my opinion, guys. I think things will need to go in her favour quite considerably as well, just to get her nose in front. So, unfortunately, I think she's had a year, and the story has been brilliant, but I think it comes to an end on Tuesday. Poneros, the shock of the Triumph Hurdle winner last year, obviously had 101 when beating Lulamba that day. For me, doesn't stand a chance in this race. I don't think Paul Tolley should be riding him over the rest. If he's to be confirmed with Poneros, it'd be a massive disappointment, I think, in the race, in my opinion. Alexi, obviously, winner of the Great Wood. Brilliant win of the Great Wood that day for Joe Tizzer and Brendan Powell. I'd say, as an each-way squeak, I wouldn't say he's going to win this race. I hope he goes well for Connections, as he's in the Native River colours, of course, of Brocade Racing. But my selection, guys, it's going to be Lossiemouth if she runs, quite considerably Lossiemouth if she runs. If she doesn't run, I'll probably either put up the New Line or Brighter Days Ahead, but it's not a vintage champion hurdle and vintage selection, in my opinion, guys. So I'm really desperate for her to run, not because of Pocket Talk, but because I want to see the best of the best against each other. And Lossiemouth is one of the best, in my opinion. She's come to Cheltenham 3 times, 4 if you include winning the International a couple of years ago. She's definitely the best horse in this market by a considerable margin if she's to run, and she is who will have my money on if she is to be declared. So pray for Lossiemouth. Hopefully she runs in this race, and I think she goes win the champion hurdle if she does. Then it's the Plate, headed by Madara for Dan Skelton. McGlory's there, Will the Wise, down Memory Lane, Beckett Rock, down Mexico Way. and the rest are 20 to 1 or bigger. We've had a bit of a negative response to the ante-post series this year with one of my selections. Vincenzo obviously does not run in the plate this year after putting him up at 12 to 1 earlier in the ante-post series this season. Unfortunately, it wasn't an on-runner bet, so the ante-post money has been lost there. So I'm gutted about that. I think Vincenzo would have had a great chance, but he ran in the Great World Gold Cup at Newbury last weekend, so a bit of a hit. We knew kind of then he wasn't going to be confirmed for the plate this year. I think he would have had a right chance myself. It looks like Madara and Dan Skelton are against the Irish horses in this race, guys. He heads the market at 4 to 1 against likes of the other 7, 8 Irish horses at the top of the market. So it's going to be a tough race for Madara to go and win, I think. I don't think it's a shoe-in, as Dan Skelton seems to think he has a good chance. He does have a really good chance, Madara, but I just fear against all the other Irish horses on lenient marks, he may come up short. I haven't got a selection at the moment, a strong enough pick because of the fact Vincenzo doesn't run. But nonetheless, if it's to stay as it is, I probably will either side with Will the Wise at 12 for Gavin Cromwell. Off a mark of 138, I think that's quite lenient for him. McClory's on a very good mark himself as well. There are others at bigger prices, but I don't think they'll come into play. Perhaps someone like a Down Mexico Way for Henry de Bromhead is in with us this week, but this is a tough race, guys. I'm gutted with my selection, with my ante-post selection coming out, of course. So I'll have to wait until the day on this one, I think, guys. But for now, I may put up Will the Wise at 12 from Gavin Cromwell. He's in the colours, I think the same colours as Stumptown. I may be wrong on that, but he comes in the plate. He's also entered the Jack Richards Novices Chase on the Thursday, so just bear that in mind. Back him on another bet, unlike I didn't do with Vincenzo before he came out with that market. So I think in the verdict as such, it's a tough little race. So there's no standard selection yet. You'll have to wait and see. Follow me on Twitter to see who I select on this day, on this race. So yeah, I will probably side with Will the Wise for the time being. It may change, it may differ if he gets confirmed and declared for the Jack Richards instead of the round off day one. We have the National Hunt Chase headed by Back Me or Sack Me for MM Mullins at 4 to 1. Newton Tornado at 6 to 1 for Rebecca Curtis. Then the likes of Wade Out, One Big Bang, Brave Fortune, the Jukebox Kid, Iceberg Theory, King of Answers and Grand Jest are all 14 to 1 or lower, and the rest are 16 to 1 or bigger. I think it's between 3 in this race, but I will be siding with 1 on the day because they're all quite short enough in my opinion. Back Me or Sack Me first was on a very lenient mark after winning at Lepus on the DRF last time out. Will he stay 3 months 6 is the only question for me, but MM Mullins is such a shrewd operator. He's got a hell of a chance if he can stay the marathon trip. I think he's very, very strong opportunity to win this race. Newton Tornado for last year's winning connections over Rebecca Curtis. Last year's winning trainer with Heidi Kula comes back in this race with Newton Tornado this year, who has done hardly anything wrong this year. Has won 2 races this season. Notably at Doncaster as well. Weighed out at 9 to 1. He doesn't jump well enough. He's got Sean Bowen on his back for this race, but he'll be it'll be a tough ride for Sean Bowen, I think, in this race. As we saw with Weighed Out at the November meeting, he does not jump well enough. I think even with this longer trip, it won't suit him either. The one that each way squeak, I think, at 14 to 1 does interest me is Grand Jest, guys, for Danny McManaman, who is jocked up on the horse, for Joel Parkinson and Sue Smith. He's won a couple of times at Haydock this season, most notably the Grade 3 Grand National Trial, so he will stay the trip, no doubt. So I think Grand Jest at 14 to 1 each way is in with a shout, or Back Me or Sack Me. I think one of the two I will be siding with. Perhaps I might put both up, I should say, but it's a big differential from 4 to 1 Back Me or Sack Me. You'll be playing probably a win selection there, or Grand Jest at 14 to 1. You can play him each way. So I think they're one of the two I will side with in the National Hunt Chase to round off the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival. The second day of the festival starts off with another Grade 1 for novice hurdlers. This time the Turners, and it is Talk the Talk that leads the race leads the market at the moment, I should say. Heads the betting at 7 to 2 if he's to run here rather than the Supreme. Then you have No Drama this end for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. Skylar Hustle, King Rascal Grey, Ballyfad, Act of Innocence is in here, Sober, and the rest are at bigger prices. I absolutely love No Drama this end, and hopefully he stops the rot with Paul Nicholls in this race with this Charlo Hurdle winner. I'd easily say he's the one to beat. He stays well, and for a big horse, he quickens well and can accelerate up a hill, as we've seen at Cheltenham in November and Sandown in December. He's won all his hurdle races this season, guys, including the aforementioned Grade 1 Shallow, where I do think he did all the hard work out in front that day. Hopefully with a lead in this race, he can be asked to pass them around the bend and press on up the Cheltenham Hill as he can. His form is also working out far better recently, with a lot of other horses coming out and winning. And he's already had festival experience too when running in the Champion Bumper last season. The Irish contingent, obviously headed by Total Talk now. If he's the run here, he's a threat. But the others in this race this time around aren't as strong as other renewals, I don't think. They're all beatable over this trip, and they're not top novices at the moment like we've had at this stage in the past. The likes of Skylar Hustle, King Rascal Grey, Ballyfard, they're all beatable in my opinion. So I'm very strong on No Drama this end, and I think Paul Nicholls will hopefully get a Grade 1 winner at this year's festival. The Brown Advisory Novices Chase is next, where I've got my first ante-post play in my series this season. When I backed the horse in November, of course, it is the Big Westerner in this race. The other horses that are in the market at the moment are headed by Final Demand for William Williams and K. Doty. Then the Big Westerner at 5-1. Romeo Coolio is in the 7th one. He's also entered for the Arkle, of course. Wendigo, Western Fold, Cocktail Divan, and Oscar's Brother. The rest are 16-1 and bigger prices. I really think she has a good chance in this race. The trip is what the Big Westerner needs. The mare's allowance is what she'll get. And I personally don't fear any other horse in this race this year. I obviously explained my case in episode 1 of my series, so I won't bore you with the same stuff again, guys. But Final Demand is not a world beater, in my opinion. He's a bit of a bully on a racetrack, and when he doesn't get his terms, I think he has run badly before. He's a horse I don't trust. He's not a horse I trust, especially at Cheltenham, and he's one of my lays of the entire week. I think Willie Mullins has a better shot in the race with K. Doty, although he's beatable too. Wendigo is solid as well, but not as flashy as I'd hope. And the rest I can't make a case for. So my selection, and has been all season long, will be the Big Westerner. I'll keep it short and sweet in this race. Henry de Bromhead's mare is my play in the Brown Advisory, as I backed her at 20-1 earlier in the season. Arguably the most competitive handicap of the entire meeting is next in the now titled Bet MGM, or as we all know, Coral Cup, at 2:40 PM on Wednesday, with Stormheart, your market leader. I think he's a strong market leader at the moment at 15-2. He's got a lot of money's come in for him recently. Katira's in there for Dan Skelton, Iberico Lord, I Started a Joke, the Yellow Clay, Jinko Blue, and Wellington Arch. The rest are 20-1 or bigger. Obviously, I got to play in the Ante-post series as well here with Lucky Place for Nikki Henderson. I think I backed her at 25-1 non-runner no bet. She's now 33-1 or at the moment, so it has gone up in price a bit. It's a very competitive race. It could go to any of the top, say, 20 in the market, guys. It's such a competitive race. You can make a case for as many as you'd like. I think Stormheart is a very strong favourite, like I said. Money's come in for him. Iberico Lord, as we know, has won handicap hurdlers, big handicap hurdlers a lot during his career, so has got a good chance for against if he stays a 2-mile, 5-furlong trip. The Yellow Clay in his second in the turners last year at the festival behind the New Lion, so if that form stacks up well, he's in with a shout. Obviously, the talking horse from last season, Kopek de Me, is at 20-1. You got Bunting in there for William Mullins as well. Wendrock. It's such a competitive race. Barley Adam, who's running this race a couple of times and has finished in the places, he's 33-1. So you can make a case for as many as you like, guys. I'm going to stick at the moment with Lucky Place for Nicky Henderson as my play, but I could have another 2 or 3 come the day as well. So, yeah, it's a tough race to find a winner in. Good luck to you if you've backed any horses at flashy prices. Like I said, if you have backed Stormheart at bigger prices, then you're in with a good chance. He's favourite at, like I said, 15-2. He's got a very good, strong case. I'll stick with Lucky Place for now, but I will have another 2 or 3 come the race, so I always do in the Coral Cup. Now, obviously named the Bet MGM. The Cross Country follows, and the reigning winner, Stumptown, heads of the field and the market as well for now, with obviously other horses in the race, such as Favori de Chandu, Desert Morehouse, Vanillier, Final Orders, the Goffer, Caridas, and the rest are 20-1 or bigger. You got to be within, I think, £15 of the top rated in this race, guys, so just bear that in mind before they get declared and confirmed on the day. I, of course, have backed Vanillier already, guys. 10-1 I put up in my ante-post series. 3rd in this race last year when things didn't go his way, yet stayed on from a whole mile back. He's in good form now after his banks win at Punchestown and is a very good each way price still. I think he's 7-1 at the moment. If he's ridden more handily, like he usually does, I think he could be there or thereabouts to the last and then stay on up the hill like he has done before. Stumptown is definitely there for the taking this year, and he hasn't run for a while. The others have certainly got the fitness advantage on their side, and it's a hotly contested market compared to last season. A few at the top of the betting have already won over the course of the season, including Favre de Champtou and Fine Orders. So Stumptown will need a personal best, I think, to win, and I believe he's reached his ceiling in the weights, and it could be another lay in the meeting for me here with Stumptown. So it's going to be Vanillier for me, but I wouldn't be put off a few others too, including the aforementioned Favre de Champtou and Final Orders as mentioned. But I'll stick with Vanillier as the main selection in the race as my ante-post play at 10-1 against Stumptown, who I think is getting weaker and weaker in the market, guys. So just bear that in mind if you fancy last year's winner in Stumptown. Queen Mother Champion Chase at 4 p.m. on Wednesday is headed by Madgebra, who's currently now odds on at 5-6. Lear de Sud is there, Ileti Tomp, Quilixios, John Bonifield runs as well, of course, Irish Panther, Solness, Only by Night, and the rest are bigger. Tough call here, guys. I'm still unsure, and I have a lot to ponder on who I may stick with, and I think with the top three in the market, it'll be between them. Madgebra, Lear de Sud, and Ileti Tomp are the three to look at, and obviously ground will play a massive factor, so that's why I just want to wait that extra bit of time to consider closely. Albeit Madgebra was awesome at Leopardstone last time out, and Lear de Sud has had his lengthy break, which is needed. Ileti Tomp is sound on, quite frankly, any ground as well, but had a tumbling fall at Ascot last time out, so I'm a bit put off by Ileti Tomp myself. He hasn't got the best record around Cheltenham either. Tactics will be interesting. I'd suspect Madgebra with cheek pieces are probably added will apply the same running style at the DRF, and that's my big worry with him. If another horse wants to go with him, such as a Solness or others, it may rough him up and light him free. Then the mistakes like happened in the Arkle last year may kick in, especially around Cheltenham. Like I mentioned, Ileti Tomp doesn't have a great Cheltenham form, but hopefully we'll be rid of my Paul Town and this time therefore maybe closer up and sit just behind the leaders, so that's a bit of a bonus. And I think Harry Skelton will sit deep on Lear de Sud with a patient ride coming there late on. So it's going to be a bit of a late call in my opinion, guys. And obviously we know odds-on favourites haven't got a very good record in the champion chase, so if you are a backer of Madgebra, consider the price. He is currently odds-on, so we've had about 5 or 6 odds-on favourites in the last decade lose. Heavy ones as well, including the likes of Duval and Defi de Soy and El Fabiolo. So if Madgebra gets shorter and shorter, you're worrying about the trend more and more, I feel. I may side with Lear de Sud, considering he's had that lengthy break, and obviously Dan Skelton put them away with this race in mind. Either him or Ileti Tomp against the favourite, I think, for now, guys. But it could come down to the ground, dependent on the day, and a late call in my case. So it's between the top 3 in the race, in my opinion, guys. But who I side with, again, we'll have to wait come the day, in my opinion. Grand Annual Handicap Chase is next. And I'm coming around in the race, guys, to last year's winner again, I think, in Jazzy Matty. The horses in the market at the moment, headed by Be Aware for Dan Skelton, Ryan's Rocket, Van der Poel, then you have Jazzy Matty, who I have, like I said, I'm coming around to more so than anyone at the moment. In the pocket, Ballysax Hank, and the rest are 16-1 and bigger. It's a tough race, another tough handicap, guys, which I haven't got a very strong view on. Dan Skelton's supposed to be aware is there, I think, based on reputation more than anything. Ryan's Rocket is a bit of an improver for Fergal O'Brien, second on the market. Van der Poel has been mentioned by a lot of shrewdies in previews here and there. And Jazzy Matty has obviously come to Cheltenham twice at the festival, won twice. He won the Fred Winter a few years ago, and last year he won the Grand Annual again for Danny Gilligan and Cian Collins. I'm coming around to him again, guys. It's not a strong case, but at 12-1, he's a good each way squeak. In a competitive race, you could make a case for a few of them. He's in there number 12 in the race, so he has got hardly, nothing more somewhere weight to carry. So I'm coming, like I said, for the third time, I'm coming around to Jazzy Matty, guys. I don't really want to side with anyone else in the race. So by process of elimination, I'm going to side with the last year's winner again. So he's on the best of forms at the moment, but he does come alive at the festival, as we've seen before. So at the moment, it's going to be Jazzy Matty in the Grand Annual. Then it's the lottery race, that is the champion bumper. And like I said, guys, this race is a lottery at the best of times. But this year, I haven't seen a standout whatsoever all season long. I haven't had a view on this race for quite a while this season. I've had a look at a few horses, but none of them take my fancy for the time being. But the market is headed by Love Sign Danu for Willie Mullins and the Irish Avatar for Willie Mullins. Then you have Keeping Company for Golden Edit in the Jiggerstown colours. Quirin is there, Base Hunter, the Morn Rambler, and another horse stands called the Mertans Censure. I think I pronounced that right again. I haven't got a strong view in this race, like I said, guys, so I'll quickly move on. But for now, if I was to decide with anyone, it'd probably be the Irish Avatar, who's in the Jigsaw colours for Willie Mullins. Has been mentioned he could be he's a big horse, big frame on him, so could handle Cheltenham quite better than the rest. But like I said, not a strong view in this race whatsoever. It's always a lottery. You would love to side with horses at bigger prices for the bumper, but at the moment, it's such a wide open race. Anything could come out and perform well on the day. But for the time being, if the race was tomorrow, I'd probably side with the Irish Avatar, but it could easily change between now and then. Third day kicks off with the Mares Novices Hurdle and has been headed by two very smart mares pretty much all season long. Bambino Fever is currently odds on now, guys, at 4-5. Old School Outlaws there 4-1. Echo in Silence, Selma de Veri, Carrick Mona Spruce, Monge 2, Charm de Fast, and the rest are 14-1 or bigger. Obviously, I did put up Highland Crystal in my ante-post series, guys, at 25-1 in this race. I'm still unsure whether she'll run or not, so we'll have to bear that in mind. And due to that, I'm signing with another horse, stronger horse in this race, and a very, very strong case for the horse. I think this horse can really become a potential banker of the meeting as well. It's going to be Bambino Fever, who I will kick off with, guys. She won the Champion Bumper last season, and so has been at the track and experienced the festival atmosphere before. In my opinion, she beat a very good field of horses in that race that have franked the form since this season already, including the likes of El Kairos, Idaho Sun, No Drama This End, So Tudor, and even Fortune de Mer to an extent. Bambino Fever was ridden well that day by Jodie Townend in the bumper, and when she asked, she really quickened inside the final furlong of the bumper, which inclines she doesn't lack any speed, and she doesn't mind the hill at Cheltenham as well. This season over hurdles has seen her sole defeat in her career, which came up against the mare at the top of the race in Old School Outlaw. Now, Old School Outlaw has only been seen to be running over hurdles on very soft to heavy ground. So I do think she has definitely seemed to better effect on bottomless and deep ground. But if that's not the case, come day 3, then I do think it may be a risk to back her quite so short. Both mares have similar form over hurdles, and it was a tight call before I saw what the ground was at Cheltenham. I think it's good as soft at the moment on both courses at Cheltenham. So I'm very strong on Bambino Fever's chances now, guys. Paul Townend is not going to allow the other mare, Old School Outlaws, to be in front during the race and have first run over him. So I think Bambino Fever now will be ridden a bit more prominently, a bit closer up to the pace, unlike she was in the hurdle race that she lost against Old School Outlaw. But Bambino Fever is my selection, and really is probably up there with one of my stronger fancies of all the favourites in the whole entire week this year. 2.5 mile Grade 2 Limited Novices handicap chase is next in the Jack Richards, headed by Cocktail Divan for Henry Bromett at the moment. Meet Me by the Sea is there, Regent Stroll for Paul Nicholls, Slade Steel, 6 Mile Bridge, McClory, Jordan's Cross, and the rest are 16-1 or bigger. I've had an ante-post here, guys, with 6 Mile Bridge at 12-1. Even though he'll be up there with one of the highest weights, he's a Grade 1 win over fences already, and if declared, I can only see him getting shorter in the market. Unbeaten over the larger obstacles, he has improved all season and is now a 150 rated chaser. He also won over course and distance back in December. His form is looking really strong, with Miami Magic 3rd in the Scilly Isles at Sandown, winning at Newbury next time out. And obviously when 6 Mile Bridge beat Calafell and Vol at Cheltenham in December, that horse is now a 141 rated chaser after winning at Kempton recently. I'm not with all the rage in the market for Regent Stroll. I'm not at all in Regent Stroll's camp, unfortunately. His form is nowhere near as strong as 6 Mile Bridge. And I think it's just what happened with Caldwell Potter last year is why people are on this horse. He's gone off favourite in all his starts over fences, but I don't think he's as classy as the others in this race. Cocktail Divan has obviously improved for a fence and has only been risen £1 by the BHA handicapper, but it's just his price in this kind of competitive race is putting me off. I have some doubts with him going up against some of the classy horses as well as good handicapped horses he'll face in this contest. Clearly, JP McManus has several horses he could choose from, and he's got some horses with good marks they could exploit off, so it could be a case of waiting for which one he'll decide upon. But it's 6 Mile Bridge strongly for me here, guys, as per the reasons I explained today and in my ante-post episode. He's currently 9-1. I'd say he's one of my best handicap shots of the entire week. Hurdle, and as we know, if Lossimouth runs here, it's just a penalty kick for her. She will win the race. But unfortunately, if you have backed her for this race, guys, if she's not to run, then Woodhoo, who's odds on at the moment, has a one hell of a chance of backing up her Martin Pipe win in last season's festival. Others in this race to take note of are Jade de Grugy, Feet of a Dancer, Take No Chances, and the rest have bigger prices. But I think it's between Woodhoo and Lossiemouth if she runs. If not, it's just going to be a Woodhoo win in my opinion, guys. So I won't keep you too long on the mare's hurdle. Lossiemouth is currently 5-4. If you've backed on running a bet, then you've got nothing to worry about. If you have backed ante-post, then it's a bit of a concern at this one time because she may go to the champion hurdle, obviously. Woodhoo is a very good, solid horse, and I think she'll run a race and be there or thereabouts come the end. Jade de Grugy obviously has been in and out of her fences and hurdles this season, so I wouldn't be signing with her. I think Woodhoo's only issue is if she is herself, is if she falls on a day or ends up missing a hurdle. So that's my only concern with Woodhoo. I think she's a very strong enough favourite, a very solid horse. The only issue as well is if Lossiemouth runs against her. But my selection in the mare's hurdle will be Woodhoo unless Lossiemouth runs. Championship race on day 3 now, and it's the Stayers Hurdle with perhaps many chances. Or is there just one standout horse? I think there's one standout, but I'll go through the market quite quickly, guys. Tihupu's 9-4, Cabral du Matan, Honestly Policy, Bob Ollinger, the last year's reigning winner, Marchantou is there, Ballyburn, Impose Etoile, and the rest have much bigger prices. Like I said, in my opinion, there is one standout horse in here, guys, and I've been banging on about him since really the start of December, and it is Tihupu for Gordon Elliott. I don't need to say much about this horse. We all know how classy and consistent he is. He won the Hatton's Grace of Ferryhouse at the end of November at a trip which is slightly too, much too short for him, and beat Ballyburn that day. And then went on to Leopardstown on Christmas, which he doesn't annually do, and absolutely bolted up in the Grade 1 Christmas hurdle there. I don't think he's that ground dependent, whereas other people might say he is. He beat Bob Ollinger that day by 7 lengths. That's the only race Bob Ollinger has had all season, which would really worry me about Rob Coe's other horse. Last season's Stayers Hurdle was one I thought that turned into a bit of a sprint and wasn't really a grueling staying contest that Tihupu wants. Bob Ollinger is probably quicker than Tihupu, but not more of a dour stayer at all than Tihupu, and that's what transpired last year. Tihupu, guys, is still only a 9-year-old, whereas Bob Ollinger is 11 years old and getting on, I think. And I think despite Bob's excellent festival and course record at Cheltenham, I'd say Tihupu deserves to be a strong favourite as he is, and the one they all have to beat. I can't really make a strong case for Honestly Policy myself. Cabral du Matan may run, but is yet to be proven over the distance. And Marchantou was £10 to find on Tihupu, although he's an improver at the track. Surely this is Tihupu's to lose, guys. And if you've backed him at a good ante-post price like myself, then you'll be happy with the slip at this moment in time. In my case, he was 5-1 earlier in the season, which I took. If any of you are on that price or higher, then good luck to you. And your slip is looking rather healthy right now. So it's a strong fancy for me here, guys. Tihupu will regain the Stayers Hurdle this year and could potentially be one of my best shots in a graded race this season. It's the Ryanair Chase at 4 o'clock on Thursday, headed by Factify, last year's brilliant winner of the race. Is he back for more, or does he go to the Gold Cup? We'll have to wait and see on that specific front, guys. Will JP supplement him for the Gold Cup? Which I think he should, considering he's an Irish Gold Cup winner, but that aside, we wait and see if he runs here or in the Gold Cup. Then Gaelic Warrior will probably end up going to the Gold Cup if Factifile runs here. Heartwood is in here, Banbridge, Jombon, Imperi Pass, and Firefox. Half those horses won't run, guys. So it's just a penalty kick for Factifile, I think, if he does run. It's similar to Lossiemouth. He should run in the Gold Cup, but will he run here to get an easier race and win the race easier? Quick summary. Factifile will win if he runs. If he doesn't run, I think one at a bit of an each way price could be someone like a Matata, potentially a 33-1. Not saying he's guaranteed to run here either. There's so many horses that may not even run, guys. It's quite a poor renewal this year, but a Factifile, if he runs, is an absolute certainty as well. So we'll stick with that for now. If he doesn't run the Gold Cup, he runs here, and he's an absolute certainty to win the Ryanair this year. Next up is a competitive race in the Potemps final. Obviously headed by Supremely West for Dan Skelton at 4-1. Very short for a handicap race like this at the festival. Electric Mason then at 10-1. Manila Emperor at 10-1. Say Different at 10-1 as well. Impose Etoile probably won't run here. He'll probably run in the Stayers Hurdle. He's 14-1 at the moment. Melbourne Shamrock 14-1. Ace of Spades absolutely doyen, and the rest are 16-1 and bigger. I like 2 in here, guys. Obviously, one you'll have known I've backed ante-post at 50-1, and another one who I will back. Obviously, I stuck up Yeah Man in my ante-post series at 50-1. Clearly, will get into the race now. He's a 143 rated chaser, guys. In a hurdle race just shy of 3 miles. I'd say he's going to go close. He runs over 3 miles all the time over fences and in big field handicaps. And I think despite the harshly £10 extra he's been slapped on by the UK handicapper, it shouldn't matter to him. He should still run his race. He won off a 133 mark over fences. That was the Grand National trial at Haydock in February 2024. He had a break over hurdles from 2023 to December last year, and clearly Connections thought they could get into this race with a good qualifying run. He came second in his Leopardstown qualifier, and then had a jog around Gorham Park last month just to get his necessary 5th run in the book. He could easily get a claimer on board as he did in December, and I really think he's worth a shot. And he's contracted in the market since December from the time I played him at 50-1. He's now half the price at the moment. So that's a good little omen, I think, for Yeah Man, is that he's a 143 rated chaser in a hurdle race where he's a lot lower rated, contracting the market quite a lot, and obviously he's in with a chance. The other horse in this race I am fond of is a horse trained by Sam Thomas called Say Different, who is currently second in the market. He'll have next to no weight, guys. Roughly 10 stone to be in fact, and qualified by winning his qualifier in November. He was running most of last season over just 2 miles, but since stepping up in trip over 2 miles, 3 furlongs and 3 miles, he's been improving all the time. He's now up to 131 in the ratings, and he's always been partnered with jockey Dylan Johnson, bar one race in his career. And I think he's been set up for this contest in mind, and he's going to get in after his £10 rise following his Newbury Handicap hurdle win in January, whereby the form of that race isn't too bad due to the horse in third reappearing at the Newbury track and winning next time out. I believe he's a well-handicapped type, this horse, Say Different, and we'll see if he can handle Cheltenham and the whole atmosphere come the day. So my 2 in the race to play are obviously going to be Yeah Man ante-post wise, and a horse trained by Sam Thomas called Say Different, who hopefully with good each way chances for both will bring in the money, I think, guys. I'm going to go against Supremely West for Dan Skelton, who's been punted off the boards of late. So I'm going to go with one at 50-1 ante-post wise, and one who I will be back in the next to no distant future, called Say Different. Final race on day 3, guys, is amateur jockeys race in the Kim Muir handicap chase, just over 3 miles, headed by Jericho de Reponnet for Nicky Henderson and JP McManus. Waterford Whispers is in here as well for JP, and Henry de Bromhead at 5-1. Jarive de l'Est at 9-1. Will he get in? Obviously, there's a lot of runners in this race that will come out, of course. Kim Rock at 10-1. Heracles Westwood at 12-1. Prens Garda 12 for Gordon Elliott at 14-1. And the rest are 20-1 or bigger. I did put one up in my ante-post series, non-running Robert. Of course, it was Search for Glory for Gordon Elliott and Jingle Sound, who's currently 25-1, unchanged from the time I put him up. I think he's obviously, of course, he will get in as he's third in the race in terms of the weights. Whether or not he gets a good amateur jockey on board, I'm not sure about that. Obviously, you want Harry Swan for Gordon Elliott. He could be the one that potentially gets the jocked up for Gordon Elliott's mount. But it's a tough race to find another winner of. Another competitive handicap. I think Waterford Whispers, whichever race he ends up going to, I think this could be the one. Is very, very interesting off his current mark. He's 5-1 in the race at the moment. He'll take a lot of the beating considering he's got a lot, next to no weight to carry. He's well handicapped. Obviously came third to the DRF in that race behind Backby or Sackme. And I think he's well handicapped in this kind of race. Jericho de Reponnet can't have off top weight, guys. And he's 4-1 favourite. I don't understand how he's so short in the race, personally. I think Nick Anderson has a better chance with Highland in this race, if I'm honest. But we'll wait and see if he gets declared as well. But in this race, the 2 I probably will side with is my current ante-post play in Search for Glory, and I'll do like Waterford Whispers if he gets declared as well. So they're the 2 against Jericho de Reponnet, who's currently favoured for the Kim Muir. Gold Cup Day now, guys. The last day of the festival starts off with a Grade 1 Triumph Hurdle for juveniles, headed by a JP McManus, William Mullins type in Proactif, Selma de Very's there for William Mullins, Minella Study, Maestro Conti for Dan Skelton, Monge 2, Macho Man, and the rest are 12-1 or bigger. I'm not going to be siding with Proactive in the Triumph, guys. Even despite the trainer Willie Mullins' fantastic record here, he's only been seen twice, once in Ireland, and I don't think he's worthy enough to be such a short price fav in the market. Obviously, we don't know how good he could be, but I don't want to chance him in the open on Friday with other top juveniles against him. Others in the race that could be top horses are Manella Study, Maestro Conti, and Macho Man to an extent if you're looking at the Proactive form. If I start with Manella Study, who's unbeaten over hurdles, and probably the one going under the radar in the race with regards to connections. He's won at Cheltenham already over course and distance, which is a plus, as well as giving everyone weight in the process, and beating Winston Jr., who's favoured for a Fred Winter on the Tuesday. He won his next start and goes in the juvenile handicap hurdle for 131, so you can upgrade how good Manella Study is. Maestro Conti for the Skeltons, I cannot dismiss as they're so bullish on his chances, is unbeaten and has won at Cheltenham too, again over course and distance. Interestingly, Maestro Conti beat a horse called One Horse Town in second in the juvenile Grade 2 hurdle at Cheltenham on trials day by 2 lengths on soft ground when receiving £2 in weight that day, whereas Manella Study beat the same horse, One Horse Town, in third at Cheltenham in December on better, gooder soft ground when off the same weight and beat him by nearly 10 lengths. So there's a bit of a form line there between the two UK horses. I do reckon the Triumph will go to a UK horse this time, but which way will it go? It could be a 1-2 finish perhaps for the UK, with them both finishing towards first and second. That's Manella Study and Maestro Conti. But it's a tough call, so I'm going to pin my hopes and side with Maestro Conti. Dan Skelton is adamant he's come forward and improved a lot more, as he will need to in order to beat the Irish horses in the race. His form isn't working too badly, even with his first show out in France. And if the trainer has nominated Maestro Conti as one of his best chances at this year's festival, then you have to take note. So it will be Maestro Conti who I'll side with in the Triumph. He's a good price at the moment at 15-2. Let's hope he does the business and kicks us off Gold Cup day. Competitive handicap hurdle next, guys, in the county hurdle on Friday, headed by the last year's winning connections, but different horse in Mercia for Willie Mullins and Kenneth Alexander. Christmas in there for Nicky Henderson, Carbo, Sinatra, Stormheart, Amsterdam, who could come off top weight. Then you have I Started a Joke and Rock Dino 14-1, and the rest are 16-1 or bigger. I'm going to stick with the horse I put up in my ante-post series and stay with my play in that race, who I put up 16-1, is currently unchanged. That is Bowen's On Fire for Gordon Elliott. Winner of his last 2 hurdle races, including the one at the DRF, where he did beat I Started a Joke that day. That form is quite strong for this kind of race. I think you'll need to work a winner from. Other horses you can make a case for are Stormheart, but he's also well fancied for the BetMGM Cup, obviously before mentioned as the Coral Cup. Amsterdam would be interesting off top weight, but I don't know if he's going to come here or the Champion Hurdle. And then I don't think the rest I could make a case for. Mercia, I think people are coming into this horse due to last year's winning connections and last year's trends. I think she won an entry at the back end of last season. She may just be a better horse on flat tracks rather than Cheltenham, so I wouldn't want to side with her at such a short price in this competitive handicap. But I'll stick with Bowen's On Fire for now, guys. 16-1 is a good each way selection. I had 4 places for him each way. You may get bigger on the day, so just consider that with each way places. But he's 16-1 for KDTA Racing and Gordon Elliott, who I think will have a decent week themselves. So I would stick with Bowen's On Fire at 16-1 each way in the county hurdle. The Mayor's Chase, headed by last year's winner again, Dino Blue for Willie Mullins and JP McManus again, those connections. Spindlebury at 9-2 is next in the market, followed by Panic Attack, who's been a revelation this season. Diva Luna at 8-1, Only by Night at 9-1, and then the rest are 10-1 or bigger. I want to take on Dino Blue in this race, guys, just due to the fact I think Panic Attack has had a wonderful season. I want to stick with Panic Attack in this race. I think she's a Cheltenham form, and obviously her form for the rest of the season has been flawless. She won the Paddy Power Gold Cup in November, then reappeared and won the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury next time out. She's also won a Newbury in a handicap chase, listed mares chase since then as well. I think she's overpriced at 5-1 in my opinion. She should be a bit shorter, I think. But Dino Blue is rock solid following her win last season. It could be between them two in the final couple of fences, and if so, it will be a fantastic ending to the race. It's a great race on paper with the likes of Only by Night, Diva Luna in here as well. You've got Carla Conti who could run your July Flower. Some very good mares in this race, guys. But I'm going to side with Panic Attack for Dan Skelton on the basis that I don't think she's finished improving. I think she can continue improving. She's a play in the National as well, guys. So consider that. She could run you. She will run you in the Mares Chase on the Friday and reappear to run well in the Grand National in April. I wouldn't put you off backing in her for that race either. I think she's a very, very talented mare and she could really give Dino Blue some problems. So I think my selection in the Mares Chase against Dino Blue will be Panic Attack. I might give a squeak as well to only buy night each way. I think she's currently 9-1 for Gavin Cromwell. She could go well after finishing second in the Arkle last year. Albert Bartlett next, a staying Grade 1 hurdle race for novices over 2 miles and 7 furlongs, just shy of 3 miles. Dr. Steinberg is your favourite at 3-1. The Devil You Know 9-2. You got no drama this end in the race. He won't run you. He'll run in the Turners. Spinning a Yarn 10-1. Espresso Milan 12-1. And I'll sort that 14-1. The rest are at bigger prices. I think this market is looking quite muggy, guys, if you ask me. I'm not getting involved in the two at the top of the betting in Dr. Steinberg and the Devil You Know. They are ridiculously short to consider, I feel, for this race. Bartlett races can turn out with some indifferent results, and I'm not looking at the top of the market for this year. Dr. Steinberg is probably looking like featuring here rather than the Turners over 2 mile 5, and I'd probably fancy him more in the Turners myself, to be honest. Instead, I'd probably back a couple, one at a massive price and another at 25-1 to go against the top two in the race. The first of which will be Cryptic Jim for Joe Tizard. I think he's currently 25-1. And he obviously won a Grade 2 over 2.5 miles at Cheltenham the last day, but was totally all out and ridden to the line against Taurus Bay on that occasion. I think a step up in trip and a slowly run race could be better suited for him against more stayers rather than quicker horses. He's also entered for the Turners on the Wednesday, so just bear that in mind if you are backing him, or consider obviously non-run and no bet. If he's confirmed and declared for this, I can't see him a 25-1 shot come the day. I do feel this market is going to collapse hugely in the next few days, guys, when all the confirmation stages are finalised. So maybe that 25-1 will be gone sooner than you think. And my other horse, I'll also give an honourable mention as well to another horse I like in this race, in Good Girl Kathleen for Emma Mullins at 50-1. The trainer does have a few in here, such as Melbourne Shamrock and Manila Emperor, but they're also both entered and qualified for a Temps final, so I doubt they'll all up here in this race. With Good Girl Kathleen, this is her only entry for Cheltenham, and she's proven herself over longer trips. She won a Grade 3 novice hurdle at Cork in December. Previous to that, she finished second at Cork in a listed hurdle, so I don't doubt her stamina whatsoever. The last time she ran, she did pull up a Warwick in a mare's novice hurdle on very deep ground that day, and I think that was the issue on the day for her. The ground was so saturated and deep, she did not like it whatsoever. The better the ground, the more she will like. And look, guys, we've had some upsets in this race before. Big prices have won this contest. It's worth a chance, and I'm taking on the top two of the market here. So both my selections in this race will be each way shots. I'm backing Cryptic Jim at 25-1 and Good Girl Kathleen at 50-1. So then, the blue ribbon event of the Cheltenham Festival is the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, headed by Gaelic Warrior at the moment at 6-1, the Jukebox Man 6-1, and Django by 6-1 as well. We have co-favourites of 3. Obviously, Factor 5 will need to be supplemented to come to this race. I think he would be favourite if he was already in the race. The two-time champion Gallopin de Champ is 7-1 for Willie Mullins at the moment. Haiti Cooler 8-1 for Rebecca Curtis. Last year's winner, I know the way you're thinking, is 8-1 for Gavin Cromwell. Grey Dawning at 14-1. Spillance Tower is 16-1, and the rest are 33-1 on bigger, including the likes of a national winner Nia Maximus, Grange Clare West, Affordale Fury, Envoy Allen is 40-1. It's an absolute brilliant contest on paper, guys. And I'm sure it will be a brilliant race as well. It's going to be an absolute cracker, an absolute burn-up. And stamina will come to the fore in this race, guys. It's going to be an absolute stamina-sapping contest. I think it'll be run at a fair pace, at a true run pace. And it's a question of who will last the contest the most. If I break it down quite quickly, guys, and quite one horse at a time, I won't say Factor 5 yet, as it is he may not run, so I will go through one horse in the market without Factor 5 because obviously he's not supplemented yet. But Gaelic Warrior, firstly, 6-1 at the moment, does not interest me at all at the moment. I think he did win the Arkle here over 2 miles a few seasons ago. Then this season he's obviously won a Punchstone at the in the John Durkan to begin the season. Then went to Kempton, and I was fancying him so well for the King George that day. Disappointed me in the slowly run race that day around Kempton. I thought that was his track. I thought that he'd win that day, and he didn't. He didn't beat the Jukebox Man, and he didn't beat the likes of Django Bay in that. It was a blanket finish. He didn't beat the Jukebox Man, Django Bay as well in that race. And Bambridge, of course, finished second in the race as well. So I was disappointed with the Gaelic Warrior on that occasion, guys. He then went to the Irish Gold Cup at Leopardstown, finished second being Factor File. I think if he's to win this Gold Cup, he would have had to have beat the Factor File at Leopardstown. So I cannot side with Gaelic Warrior at the moment, in my opinion, guys. I think the 3 mile 2 will stretch him a bit too much. And if Patrick Mullins is on board, which he probably will be, I think I'd be a bit sceptical on that. The Jukebox Man I'm coming to love a bit more, obviously with the ownership of Harry Redknapp, trained by Ben Pauling, ridden by Ben Jones. What is not to like about the Jukebox Man? He's an absolute brilliant horse. Won a Haydock at the start of the season, then won the King George in brilliant fashion in December. Been put away for this race. If he's to stay the trip in this absolute burn-up of a contest, he has a chance. Then we move on to Django Bay, who I don't think will stay the trip. I don't think Django Bay will stay 3 miles and a quarter. So I'm absolutely crossing him off completely in this race, guys. If you have backed Django Bay, I apologise. But he is not one I will be siding with. I will be siding with the next horse in the race each way because he's my favourite horse in training. It is, of course, Galloping the Champ. He's an absolute stonking price at 7-1. It's a brilliant each way price if you are getting on him now or have been out bigger prices. I think he will come in the top 4 if you can get 4 places on the day. Good luck to you. I'm going to back him a 7-1 each week without a shadow of a doubt. And I will also back the next horse in the market as well. I think Hate Du Couleur. Maybe a sentimental pick because I'm Welsh, of course. But at 8-1 for Rebecca Curtis, he'll be ridden by Sean Bowen. He will stay this trip, no doubt. My only question with regards to Hate Du Couleur is if in a Grade 1 contest, as we saw at Haydock in the Betfred Chase earlier in the season, will he enjoy it as much as he will enjoy a handicap? So he obviously won the National Hunt Chase last season over 3 mile 6. This 3 mile and a quarter contest is no problem to him. It's just a question if he can go up against other top Grade 1 contenders in this race. I'm not going to side with the Northern Way I think in the last year's winner either for Gavin Cromwell. I just think he's had a poor season running wise. Grey Dawning I was fond of earlier in the season. I'm not fond of anymore following his Cotswold Chase third behind Spillance Tower. So I don't think that form will stack up in this race. So race horse by horse, I'm crossing off quite considerably. But the 2 I will be siding with each way for now for them both is Galloping the Champ and Hate Du Couleur, both each way. Maybe a third. There may be a third horse in the race, like the Jukebox Man I may side with each way as well. So I may have 3 in the race, guys, which is quite a lot for a Gold Cup. But because it's so wide open, I want to cover all bases. I want to have all bases covered. So I think the 3 I will have will be the Jukebox Man, Galloping the Champ, Hate Du Couleur. I just got to give an honourable mention to Envoy Allen as well. What a legend he's been for connections. He's an absolute massive price at 14-1, but will his age be the better of him? Grange Clare West is a fantastic price at 33-1, but I think he's more touted for a national rather than a Gold Cup. So yeah, I've tried breaking it down as quickly as I can, and in quite a substantial amount of with the amount of horses I think have a considerable chance. The 3 I'm putting up is Galloping the Champ, Hate Du Couleur, and to an extent I'll put up the Jukebox Man as well for Ben Pauling. What a story that would be. They're my 3 in this year's Gold Cup, but what a race is going to be, and may the best horse win the best race of them all, the Cheltenham Gold Cup. An ultimate race of the festival is the St James's Place Fox Hunters Chase, over the Gold Cup triple course for amateur jockeys, and it's headed by Wonderwall at the moment. I have already backed this season in my ante-post series. It's on the line for Emmett Mullins at 8-1. He's now 6-1 in the market. So I think this could be his year, guys. I've said it many times on this season's channel how I think this could be his year. He's been third in the race second in the race the last 3 seasons in a row. This would be his chance. This would be his big win, and I hope his day in the sun at Cheltenham. Other horses in the race to just note are Cons Rock for Terence O'Brien, Panda Boy for Martin Brazil, Wrapped Up in May, Statler, Music Drive, and Golden Sun for Paul Nichols. The rest are bigger prices, including Chemical Energy for Gordon Elliott. But I'm sticking with It's on the Line. I think he's got an absolute brilliant opportunity. Win of his last 2 races this season. I think he comes into the race with very good form. I think he's a horse to beat. The fact he's had experience in this race before, 3 times he's finished second in this race. This time he will get his head in front for JP McManus, Emma Mullins, and to nearly round off the festival in style. He will win this race, I hope. The Fox and the last race of the 2026 Cheltenham Festival is the Martin Pipe Handicap Hurdle, headed at the moment by Rock Dino for William Mullins at 7-1. A Pie Denom, who I put up in my ante-post series, at 16-1. He's now 8-1 in places for Dan Skelton. The Passing Wife at 10-1 for Gavin Cromwell. Kellistoire, Air of Entitlement, Merciers in here will probably go to the county, and I started a joke for Charles Burns. The rest are 16-1 and bigger. A Pie de Nom, guys. This is the bet of the meeting in the last race of the actual festival. This is your, hopefully, finale to end the festival in style. Dan Skelton is arguably the best target trainer around at the moment. He's had this horse creeping up the weights slowly all season long for this specific race. Tristan Durrell, conditional jockey, will surely take the ride. He's parted him twice before and won. One, of course, was at Cheltenham in November. He's off 1-2-9, so if he does get in with all the other horses entered, he's going off well shorter and probably favourite on the day. I've backed him, like I said, 16-1, non-runner, no bet, so I stand myself in good stead with that specific non-runner, no bet market. That's your finale for the festival, guys. Back a Pie de Nom. That is your bet of the meeting, I hope. The other horses just take note of. Of course, Rock Dino comes in here after finishing second to El Kairos last time out. That may be a good piece of form if El Kairos runs well in Supreme. The Passing Wife is said to be going elsewhere, perhaps not this race, so perhaps don't back that horse. Then Kellistoire for JP McManus, William Mullins doesn't come into this race of good form. Air of Entitlement won the Mares Novices last year, so she may have a squeak. The rest are much of a muchness. So a Pie de Nom for me is the one to beat for Dan Skelton. Tristan Durrell on board. Get him in your book, guys. He will win the Martin Pipe to round off the festival. That's every race covered at the festival this year, guys. I've done all 28 as quickly as I can to get all it in the video as soon and as in a nutshell as I possibly could. It's just one thing to end now. There's one more thing to finish. I'm just going to give you my best bets, including some handicap best bets, naps, bankers, all that sorts of things, right here in this part of the video. If I start off with some best handicap bets of the meeting, as you may have just heard, my nap and my best handicap fancy of them all is going to be a Pie de Nom in the last race of the entire festival in the Martin Pipe. He has an absolute brilliant chance of winning that race. I'm also going to put in 6 Mile Bridge in the Jack Richards. Fergal O'Brien obviously is leaning more towards this race rather than the Brown, so I'd be happy to be on his side for the Jack Richards. That's 6 Mile Bridge. Another horse in the handicap, I really like Manlager for the Fred Winter. They're my 3 best handicap shot is Manlager in the Fred Winter, 6 Mile Bridge in the Jack Richards, and a Pie de Nom, the best of the lot, in the Martin Pipe. Some couple of graded fancies, graded best bets I like. No Drama this end will win the Turners, I'm sure of it. T-Hoopo will win the Stayers Hurdle, and Bambino Fever is a banker in the Mares Novices Hurdle. They're another 3 to get in your book. Put them all in a Trixie or an accumulator for yourselves, and hopefully they come in. Do follow me on Twitter, guys. Just to recap, do follow me on Twitter to see all my selections for each day's racing. That's important. Things that may have changed between the videos I've put up on today's episode and then. I doubt they will have changed that much, but a couple of selections here and there may have altered. So do follow me on Twitter to get every single selection you want to see from myself for each race, for each day of the festival. And that's just it to end, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said at the start of the video, comment your best bet for each day's racing from day 1 to day 4 in the comments underneath this video to see if you can land a lucky 15 or something like that. Day 1, put your best bet in. Day 2, day 3 and day 4. See if you can land a 4-fold or a lucky 15, and good luck with your selections. I really hope you've watched this video in its entirety. If you have, I'm very, very grateful. If you've just skipped a couple of days, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have liked it, give it a like. Like I said, comment your best bets. Subscribe to the channel, guys. It's going to be a fantastic week ahead for us all. I really hope you enjoy it. Good luck with all your selections. May the best horses win. And that's a wrap. The big one has landed. The countdown is nearly over. Let us go to the Cheltenham Festival. It's not long to wait now, guys. I hope you all enjoy it.